of the desires determine the goods. Right? But a different picture is, I'll put it in a different color to show you what this different. Right? We can also have that the goods determine the desires. So desire is a response to goodness, not the other way around. If we go that way, then it won't be the choices that are doing the heavy lifting. It'll be the objects of the valuable things. So what we want to say is there are lots of really valuable things, and we would like a desire structure to motivate us towards those things and not towards the non-valuable ones. Right? So one of the things that we might think is wrong with a consumer culture, simply, is that it tends to get us to desire things that are not actually good. So an obvious one, which we have, and we become more and more aware of these things, right? So it used to be cigarettes, right? Those were freely available, and the pack of cigarettes was cheap, and everybody smoked, and it was cool to smoke, and we saw lots of images of people smoking, and the tobacco companies were hiding from us the fact that actually these things were killing us. And then eventually, right, we discovered all of that, and now we put big warnings on packages. Cigarette smoking kills you, right? That's blatant. And what we were discovering is that things that we were, led to value and have desires for were not good things for us to have. Now we're doing the same thing with fast food. And we're saying that things that our culture makes readily available and encourages us to desire, right, are not, in fact, good things for us to desire. Yeah?
An interesting little
Yeah.
sidebar to that would be diamond wedding, diamond engagement rings.
Yeah.
It's not intrinsically a bad thing. And engagement rings were a thing before, but diamond engagement rings were created specifically by this company to sell.
De Beers actually did a very good, diamonds are a girl's best friend. The value of diamonds is controlled almost exclusively by De Beers. That's out a certain number on the market. There's nothing intrinsically valuable about a diamond, right? They're good for cutting glass.
It's very old coal.
It's very old. It's another. Yeah, exactly. He gave me some very old coal. But nonetheless, but we know this about everything, though, right? Is that and this is part of the seduction question that you raised, right? Is what we want to be confident about are two things, right? One is that our desires are being shaped to be for things that it will be good for us to have, and those are really valuable things. Right? And then the other one is that we want to think about the ways that desires are aroused in us. So one is through our formation and through the acculturation of things, right? We're through advertising, through socializing, through being educated, right? These are being seduced, right? All of these are being given a drug. All of these are ways of shaping our desires. Right? And we have to look at two things. There's a whole class of these. And what we want to be sure is of something like this. I want my desires to be shaped, right, in ways that I would assent to if I knew them. So part of what's wrong with certain kinds of advertising, right, is that if you knew how they were shaping your desires, you wouldn't want your desires to be shaped that way. Right? And a seducer, right, so say, Don Juan is going to seduce you, right? He's going to use ways of shaping your desires that are ways you wouldn't assent to having your desires shaped, right, if you knew how they worked. Right? So in some cases, we would assent. And so part of when we enter into, romantic attachments with others, there's a way in which we're consenting to seduce and be seduced in what we think of as the ways we all understand. If I thought that you were giving me a drug in my martini so that I would assent to whatever you suggested, I wouldn't agree with that. But that you tell me nice things, that I'm the most beautiful person you've ever seen, or that you really love being with me, and really, then I'm consenting, right? Because that's part of ordinary lovemaking, part of what we all understand. It's the blue-footed boobies holding up their feet and so forth. But if we thought that we were being exploited by this. And the thing is, for McKinnon, look, we are. There's a worry that the whole structure of romance and all that love talk is actually harmful to women and part of a oppressive system. And if we were thinking about what courtship would be like in equality, right, it would be quite different. Yeah.
I just want to express a worry that, like,
Yeah.
if our desires are only, like, formed by external things, it seems that even in a void
Yeah.
With no, like, stimuli,
Yeah.
we would still form desires.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, I don't think these, in the sense that some of these things are external, in the sense that, you know, my book is external, or these things are external. They're just things like that. But others are for certain states of mind. They're for internal things, or for cultivation, learning to play an instrument, learning how to speak a language, learning, history. These are all internal. They're not, outside. So certain kinds of psychic structures and so forth are also things that, we can desire. Yeah.
I think in response to that, I would say it would depend on the extent of this void, because, like, desire can't really be conceived of without an object.
Well, but one of the nice things is that if there's a void, you'll quickly come to have one, namely you'll get hungry. We're set up so that, it's not we're not just all just sitting around waiting for something to flow through the void. We think, I like that. Here's something else that's going to be going on, right? You need to go to the bathroom, you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need this damn pain in your leg to stop, right? Don't worry, even in that void, if you're an animal, all kinds of things are going to be motivating you to do something, including that other big animal that would like to eat you. You may be in a void, but for the big animal, you are part of dinner, right? So, all right. So see where we've gravitated towards. I think what we want to do is read on, and